Fredericiani for the SportsQuery.com, post-fight at Bellator 65 with the Jason Statham of MMA. Bjorn Rebney, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Pretty good. You sound a little sick there. You all right?
Yeah, I think the lack of sleep and constant plane trips has caught up with me a little bit, but I'll be fine in a few days. I'm going to go home. I'm going to try to sleep tomorrow, and then I'll go back to work on Sunday.
Well, I hope the main event made you feel better because we have a new bantamweight champion, Eduardo Dantas, with an awesome performance, some brutal body kicks. Were you surprised at how well he did against a veteran like Zach Makovsky?
I mean, I knew Dantas was talented. I have to say I was a little bit surprised just because how good Zach is. I mean, on most people's list, Zach's in the top 6 or 7 in the world, and he's been dominant inside of our cage. And for Dantas to come in so young at 23 and dominate the way that he did, I mean, the kicks were spectacular. And it wasn't just the kicks to the head, it was the body kicks, too, that were devastating. I mean, if you look at Zach's midsection, all of the welts on the midsection of his body were due to those body kicks. And then his ground game is so calm and relaxed. His transitions are so smooth. I mean, he was just... look, and also you look at a guy like that, and all the knock on a lot of Brazilian fighters who come up who are superstars is, well, they're great in jiu-jitsu, and their striking is spectacular, and they're all flying knees and blah, 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 but their wrestling is not so good. His win to win the tournament was against Alexis Villa, who won a bronze as a freestyle wrestler in the Olympic Games, and then he beat Zach Makovsky, who's probably one of the top 10 or 12 wrestlers in the world in MMA at 135 pounds. So this kid's future is unbelievable. I mean, I was shocked by how well he performed against a world-class guy like Zach, and he looked unbelievable. He looks, honestly, and I know I get in trouble for sometimes saying this, but and I try to pick my spots, but it's hard for me to conceptualize who at 135 pounds right now anywhere would beat him, just because of the skill set that you saw. He had the takedown defenses there without any kind of question against real world-class wrestlers. His jiu-jitsu looked shockingly good against Zach, who has been a submission monster inside of our cage and whose submission defense is at an elite world-class level, and his striking has just looked crazy. I mean, that Wilson Hayes knockout and now what he was doing to Zach tonight. So, I don't know. I think he's a very, very special talent, very special talent.
And much like a lot of your stars, Dantas kind of came out under the radar a little bit. And if you can, briefly talk about the job Sam Kaplan's done in recruiting this great talent.
Sam's done an amazing job. I mean, Sam, we've got a great team around us, and Sam has done an unbelievable job. Sam, the Dantas story is Andre Pedneris came to us, and we were trying to sign Marlon Sandro. And we got Sandro, and he said to us when we were getting ready to get the Sandro deal done, who I'd been trying to sign for a year and a half, there's this kid at 35 who's a wizard. And at the time, he was like 21 and a half years old. And he's like, he's really young, but he'll be your champion. And he's a hard guy to doubt. You know, I mean, his track record in terms of developing champions, whether it's Marlon or whether it's Marcus Galvao or whether it's Jose Aldo or whether it's these guys, is incredible. And so we were like, all right, well, you know, we're not gonna second guess you. We'd love to sign him, so we signed him. And man, went from being the number one prospect in the world at 35 to our champion. And I honestly think, if not the best, surely one of the best, one of the top 2 or 3 135ers in the world. So crazy, what a great performance.
And Galvao and Straus. Great wins tonight, but they did go through some major tragedies. Galvao talked about losing his mother, Straus, his training partner. How impressed were you with them having get in the cage right after those tragic events and be able to pull out the W?
I mean, hugely impressed. I mean, you know, it's just, I said it at the press conference. My mom has always said to me, you know, tragedy either brings out the best or the worst. It typically doesn't put you in the middle of the road. And, I mean, for Marcus to have the kind of loss that he suffered and to be able to come in and put on that performance against Ed West, and then literally for Daniel to lose an extremely close friend who had a huge bond with a week ago in a horrible car accident, to come in and put on that kind of performance against Corey, just, you know, your hat goes off to both of them. I mean, you feel for them, and at the same time, you got to applaud what they did. It's incredible.
And on a lighter note, I'm a little disappointed. I was watching Impact Wrestling the other night. Eric Young got married to ODB, as you know.
I do.
And unfortunately, I didn't see you there. Why were you not invited to Eric Young's wedding?
You know what? I was a little bit disappointed myself. And to be honest with you, I mean, you know, just you and I talking, offended that I wasn't invited. But you know what? I mean, they know where I am. They know where I work. We're all part of a larger family that kind of coexist together. But I was offended and hurt.
I'm sorry about that. And another guy that didn't show up, saw you in MMA Uncensored, you know, ran into you at the bar in New York, and you were telling me, man, you were going to bring your friend Abyss. And he's been missing for quite some time now. As you know, Joseph Park Esquire has been looking for him and unsuccessful. Do you have any idea on the whereabouts of Abyss?
I do, but I can't share that information with you or anyone else.
Why is that?
It's just part of the deal. Very big, very powerful, very strong man, and I've been sworn to secrecy.
And also beat you up if you tell him, right?
I would assume so. He sure would have the wherewithal and the ability. He's proven himself many times inside the ring.
And Lockdown's coming up in just a couple days from now.
Yeah.
Who you got in the main event? Cowboy James Storm or the champ Bobby Roode?
You know what? I don't like to pick there any more than I like to pick here. I think it'll play itself out beautifully. Two guys who were at one time great friends and now obviously have an amazing amount of disdain for each other. You know, I guess beer is not thicker than blood, so it'll be very interesting to see who ends up prevailing in that, and I think it's a story that it'll be interesting to see it unfold.
And we'll get you out of here on this. Bellator 66 coming up. Eddie Alvarez, Shinyaoki. Everybody knows about that fight. Everybody's looking forward to that fight. But what's one fight that's under the radar, either on the main card or the Spike.com card, that people should really tune into that could be a sleeper hit?
Oh, Hahn Cupcake. Rick Hahn versus Lloyd Woodard is going to be a monster fight. I mean, that is a fight literally since we made it, and that in the 55 division, I've just been looking forward to that fight. I mean, obviously, Shinyaoki, Eddie Alvarez, the rematch too is going to be amazing, but the Hahn Cupcake fight has got war written all over it. Rick Hahn looked amazing in his debut at 55. Lloyd Cupcake Woodard in that, I mean, to submit a Nogueira black belt and Patricky Pitbull the way he did and nonstop, put his foot on the gas and never took it off. That fight is, I'm really looking forward to seeing that fight. That's the one on the card that a lot of people aren't talking about, but I think it's just got potential fight of the year written all over it.
And also a quick note forgot to mention, Alexander Shlemenko, your top middleweight, got into a car accident, I believe today, as reported by Sherdog, or the other day
4 hours ago.
in Russia. Do you have any updates on his status and how he's doing right now?
I do. I talked to his manager, Alexei, twice subsequent to the accident. He's got a broken collarbone. He's got some lacerations. He was hit by a drunk driver. He's got some damage to his thumb, but the full extent of the damage because of some cuts and bruising is not yet known. He's about as tough as nails, as we all know. So, I mean, collarbones don't heal very quickly. So that's the concern, is just how long it'll take. But nothing career-ending. He's awake. He's alert. He's very upset. But he'll be fine. He'll get through it. But it's a broken collarbone. It takes time to heal.
We certainly hope the King of the Spring back fist, comes back stronger. We know Bellator will come back stronger next week. You think we get maybe a little surprise for him at the hospital? Maybe have Hulk Hogan do a nice motivational speech for him?
It's a long trip. Russia's a long trip from here. And Alexander Shlemenko, while a very dominant middleweight, is not much of a jokester. So I think I'll...
You don't think he's a Hulkamaniac at all?
I don't know. It's funny. I would actually love to get him over here after another fight when he's calm and relaxed. I've seen him smile twice. We've been working with him for 3.5 years.
Did you see him when he said he was going to kill Hector Lombard?
I did, and I think he genuinely meant it. He's had a desire to fight Hector Lombard now ever since the loss to Lombard in the 5-rounder that he had about 1.5 years ago. He's as tough as they come. If there was ever, you always, I don't know if you do, but I always kind of think to myself, boy, if a war started and you had to pick one guy that you'd probably put next to you, he'd be way up at the top of the list. He is as tough a customer as you're going to find. So, look, if Hector comes back and we decide to re-sign him, Alexander Shlemenko, when he heals, will fight him for the title and put on a great fight. If Hector doesn't, we decide not to re-sign Hector, then Alexander will fight Michael Falcao or Brian Rogers or Slava or Santos. So, we'll see. Our 85 division's gotten stacked. It's fun to watch it.
And do you want to plug your Twitter before we leave? Because I know you started tweeting me now, so I got to give you props for that.
Boom. You got to. It's at Bjorn Rebney. It's so simple. So simple. Yeah. I've actually been tweeting. I try to. I'm 46, so that whole tweeting phenomenon is not something that I just kind of grew up with and went, wow, I'll start tweeting. But I try. I try to give good substantive information. I try to get good stuff out there. But I'm tweeting. You see it. I tweet at you.
About time. About time.
Brother.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Please send me a picture of Alexander Shlemenko when he smiles, please.
Well, that'll be a hard picture to get. Like I said, we've been working together now for 3.5 years. I've seen him smile 2 times. By the time I pulled out my phone, he had the dour look on his face again. But he's a tough customer.
Well, Shlemenko, we hope you're smiling soon. Thank you so much, Bjorn.
You got it, man. Thank you.